This is my first English episode where I'll sketch a piece of church history and talk about each story. You can also find the Korean version of this episode. Dunbar is a coastal town in Scotland, not far from Edinburgh. Although this town is small, a significant event took place here in 1650, which had a profound impact on Scottish church history. Oliver Cromwell and his English army dramatically defeated the Scottish Covenanters, who made a covenant with God to protect Presbyterianism in Scotland. From a political perspective, the war between England and Scotland was caused by Scotland's crowning of Charles II and declaring him as the king of not only Scotland but also England. At the time, England was a republic as they executed Charles I, and they saw this declaration as a political threat. During the war, the Scottish Covenanters had a strategic advantage over Cromwell's army by avoiding full-scale engagement, causing Cromwell's troops to struggle with supply and disease. However, some Covenanters believed they had already won and insisted on attacking Cromwell, resulting in a devastating defeat by the English army. This battle was a pivotal moment in Scottish church history, as Scotland fell under the control of England during the 1650s. At that time, the Scottish Presbyterian Church was dominant in Scotland as its national church, while in England, independents were in control, arguing for religious tolerance. Under Cromwell's rule, Scotland could no longer maintain the uniformity of all Scottish churches under one Presbyterian polity. In the 21st century, we can see diversity among church denominations, which is considered a good thing. However, religious tolerance was hotly debated in the 17th century, and many people rejected it. The Presbyterian Church of Scotland emphasized unity and believed that religious tolerance opposed the will of God, while Cromwell and the independents argued that the liberty of conscience should be respected, allowing different church polities as long as they held sound faith. I would like to highlight that both groups believed that their view was more biblical. The problem was that one group won the battle. In the picture, the person on the right is Oliver Cromwell, who asserted that his victory showed that God was on his side. However, Scottish Covenanters thought differently. The person on the left is Samuel Rutherford, a leading theologian among the Covenanters, who believed that God punished Scotland because many of the Covenanters betrayed their covenant with God. Thus, both Cromwell and Rutherford were convinced that the result of the Battle of Dunbar was what God intended. It happened according to God's providence. However, their interpretations of divine providence differed. Interestingly, even though both believed in providence and used this doctrine to support their different interpretations of this event, they could not persuade each other. This shows that believing in divine providence is one thing, but interpreting God's intention behind the historical event is another. Lamenting the disastrous defeat at Dunbar, Rutherford admitted that sometimes it is difficult for human beings to understand God's providence, although he still believed that the defeat of the Covenanters was God's punishment. If you are a Christian, you likely believe in the doctrine of providence. What do you think about the different interpretations of these two? This episode has talked about the Battle of Dunbar. Next time, we will look at another piece of church history. Bye for now.